My name is Georgia Grace Butler. I am a professional ballet dancer with the Atlanta Ballet. As a ballet dancer, our main job is to be on stage performing. There's a lot of pieces that come with that, classes, rehearsals, training as a student, but the main objective is to perform on stage. We run on a 36-week season, and we have several programs throughout those 36 weeks that are broken up into different sections of the year. Most of those weekends are for show weekends, except for Nutcracker, which is anywhere from 23 to 25 shows in December. So our schedule is comprised from Tuesday through Saturday. Every day we start class from 9:30 to 11. People kind of frame it as a warm-up, but it's also a great opportunity to really work on our technique because we're not always doing classical ballet in our repertoire. And then we have a 15-minute break to prepare for rehearsals. And then our day is broken up into 2 3-hour blocks. So we could have anywhere from all of those 6 hours to none of those 6 hours on a given day, depending on where we are in terms of how close to the performance we are or what ballets you're involved in and not involved in. So it does fluctuate a lot. As a dancer, there are sometimes schedule changes, but most of the time we receive our schedule 48 hours in advance, and it should, for the most part, stay the same. So you have an idea of what you'll do for at least the next 2 days. And then, for example, maybe you go into rehearsal and the rehearsal director says, oh, I'm gonna start with these people, and then we're gonna have these people dance in the second half hour. And then you're like, okay, I have to schedule for myself in 15 minutes to start warming up so that I'm ready to dance in half an hour. I would say there's a lot of sacrifice in dancing and being a ballet dancer. We are oftentimes performing on holidays, and a lot of these dancers are international, so many people don't get to go home for maybe an entire year, don't get to see their families for or more than that. So there's a lot of sacrifice in terms of regular off time and honestly time to do other activities, other hobbies, just because it's so physically demanding that a lot of times on a weekend you might want to do something else that you're interested in, but you're exhausted and you need to ice and you need to sleep and you need to catch up on things you didn't have time to do. Your health and wellness is a major part of being a ballet dancer. We always say your body is your instrument, just like someone in an orchestra is going to clean and maintain the quality of their instrument. We are that instrument. So it has so many moving parts, from nutrition to cross-training to taking a deep breath to taking time for yourself, just like anybody would with any kind of career. I would say that the nutritional and physical wellness part is probably the largest aspect outside of training in the studio. It's so important because we use so many muscles that you don't normally use as a human being, like what they call intrinsic muscles in your feet and what we call our rotator muscles to turn out. To support those muscles and the bones and our structure, the way that we were made as a human, you have to do so many exercises for the supporting muscles to keep those healthy for injury prevention and things like that, as well as the nature of ballet. It's quite intense on the body, so most dancers are going to need to go to PT, and that also requires exercises and manual work and all those kinds of things as well. And then for nutrition, we have a really, really long, intense day, and we burn a lot of energy throughout the day. So it's important to make sure that you're fueling your body as best you can throughout the day. For most of us, it looks like eating snacks, little bites, especially on those 5-minute breaks, just to continue giving our body energy. Like any job, any career, there's mental challenges that come with being a ballet dancer. You are in a room looking at yourself in a mirror every day. It can feel quite hard on yourself, but there's so many ways to help balance that. And in my opinion, I think the best way is to make sure that you have your identity for yourself that's not a ballet dancer or not a dancer or not whatever your job may be. It's who is Georgia Grace outside of ballet? I might also be Georgia Grace the ballerina, but to my family, I'm Georgia Grace, my mom's daughter. I'm Georgia Grace, my friends, I'm just Georgia Grace, you know? So I think it's really important to have that sense of self that is not attached to your career. So I am originally from Georgia. I started ballet when I was 10 at a small school in Roswell. I don't remember necessarily the moment I fell in love with it. I don't think that it was like, oh my gosh, I took a ballet class and it was for me. I think that I started dancing, and the challenge of trying to recreate what I was seeing was probably really intoxicating. And I've always just adored music, so I think the combination of the challenge and music really left an impact on me. When I was 14, I went to a summer intensive program, which is a training program for students. And I was invited to go to a year-round pre-professional program, which was the first time that I realized, or I was even aware, that I could do this as a career. I really wanted to go, and my parents were like, not at 14. We'll give you a year, we'll prepare. So I spent both freshman and sophomore year at North Springs High School, which also has a dance program. And then at 15, I moved to Boston Ballet. I was part of their pre-professional program for 2 years in the pre-pro program and 1 year as a trainee, which is a middle ground before the company. And then I went to Philadelphia Ballet for a season as a trainee as well, working a lot with the company. And then in that season, I auditioned in New York City for a bunch of companies, and I just happened to get my first job with Atlanta Ballet, which was great. So it was really exciting to sign that contract knowing that I would be back with my family and my friends and people that I hadn't seen in 4 or 5 years. Georgia's a great place to work as a dancer for a multitude of reasons. I think the city of Atlanta has like a great arts community, and that includes film, TV, other live performances, and oftentimes those different industries interconnect, and there are opportunities between multiple industries for different artists. Atlanta itself is a great hub for that. I think it's super valuable to present to Georgian audiences different forms of art and dancing because it's a really diverse state. I think there's a lot of great storytelling to be told about the state of Georgia, and there are so many people who want to be an audience member, and that's so important because a good audience makes a show. And I have felt dancing in Georgia that the people that come to the performances, they really appreciate it. And there's nothing more gratifying than an appreciative audience. And I think you really have that in Georgia. So becoming a professional ballet dancer, there's a very intense amount of training required. I would say most of my colleagues and most of my peers in other companies all over the world follow a similar path of leaving home quite early and going to a pre-professional program for majority of their teenage years into early adulthood. These kind of programs involve going to classes most of the day. So a lot of us homeschooled and finished high school degrees online. So when I was growing up, I would take ballet class in the morning, have a small break to do school, take a ballet class, then take a point class and maybe a partnering class, and that was like the whole day. Once you become a company dancer, that upkeep is important, but it's not the same format, obviously. So we do a lot of cross-training, a lot of work on our own time, like swimming or Pilates or gyrotonics, yoga. But as a student, you take a wide variety of classes to have tools in your toolbox, whether that be like contemporary, modern, jazz, hip hop, all those kinds of things are part of ballet schooling. There's a lot of misconceptions about having a career in the arts. I have talked a lot with my friends, colleagues, family members about this because not everyone's going to be a surgeon, not everyone can be a special education teacher or that kind of thing that we see as like great for our society. But art is such a vital part of who we are as human beings. It's been around since the beginning of time as a form of expression. Everywhere you look, there's art, even if you don't recognize that it's art. So I think that it's really important because outside of everything going on, when someone comes into a theater and they're sitting with 500, 1,000, 3,000 other people in a quiet room watching the same thing, it's a shared experience that can really help start conversations, unite people, and give people a breather in this day and age where everything is so like fast-paced. I think live performance, and specifically ballet that's been around now for a while, is so important. Live performance is so much more intoxicating when you're in there and can leave like such a lasting impression versus a 5-minute video that you scroll on your phone. What I love the most about my job is the people that I work with. It's something I'm so passionate about. Every company has dancers from all over the world. Every company is so diverse. There's 5 or 6 languages spoken in any given room at any time, which is so exciting to be in that environment. And we share such intimate relationships with each other. Obviously, it's different than a regular co-worker relationship. We are with each other, first of all the time, and we share these really intimate experiences, whether it's dancing on stage together where you feel a little bit vulnerable, or physically partnering each other where I have to trust that this man is not gonna drop me, and sharing a passion for something. We end up talking about our deep feelings and our desires in this career, and so we end up being very, very, very close. It's just the best. Honestly, I just love being here and watching people grow and watching people learn and also being silly. It's just, yeah, I love my coworkers. I think that it's really important for young people to understand that there's not one path to your goal. There was a point where I thought that I wasn't going to be able to make it, and I had to understand that my path might be different than someone else who joined a company at 17. I joined the company at 23. It's a big difference. But there are so many paths to what you're trying to achieve, and that applies to any dance career and honestly any career in general. comparison is the thief of joy. I think in ballet specifically, you have to just try to be better than you were yesterday, or maybe the same that you were yesterday for yourself. We are trying to create some kind of line, some kind of look, some kind of movement, and you might see the person next to you doing the movement a certain way and think, oh, I should look like that. But you're you, so you're not gonna look like that. You're gonna look like you doing it. And having that sense of self and just working on yourself really can help you enjoy what you're doing way more than trying to be like the people on your side. In today's world where technology is such a huge part of our everyday, I think that it's so important to use that technology to start to get a better understanding of your community, arts you might be interested in, whether it's theater, music, art. Every once in a while, try listening to a classical piece. Try watching a movie that's in black and white. Go see a show that you've never seen before, because art is really, really enriching, and it's much more enriching than the short-term gratification that we are often searching for. And it can just help you open your creative side, which I think is just really cathartic.